What's good, guys? Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gym Bros podcast. So, a little bit of a change up today. So, unfortunately, our friend Bryn is not with us today. So, his comments about the tactical backpacks has upset a few people. So, we're aware he's currently hightailing it around Europe with a Karen chasing him around, one strapping with a tactical backpack. So while he's away, we've asked friend of the show, Joe Pearce, to come on to the show. Say hello, Joe.
Hey guys, nice to be here.
So Joe is a future IFBB pro, bodybuilder, training out of old school gyms, and he's one of my valued and well-respected members of staff. So yeah, good to have you on, mate. How you doing?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you boys? Good?
Good.
Excited. It's new for me, so I'm excited to get chatting.
Don't worry. If you feel anything on your knee, it's just Josh.
I was going to say it's Paul's fucking big wiener.
So what we thought we'd take advantage of having someone with your knowledge on today. And we're doing a bit of a theme really, where we're kind of taking our podcast like back to basics for people starting off at the gym or new to the gym and the fitness industry. So what we thought we'd talk about today is things that we kind of know now, to do with training, nutrition and going to the gym that we wish we'd known, like 10 or even for me like 20 years ago.
30 years ago.
It's not that old. I didn't used to go to the gym on a chariot. just a penny farthing.
Okay.
So that's what we thought we'd talk about. And we thought we'd value your input. Obviously, I've spoken to you many times at the gym about training. When I was doing my prep for my photo shoot, I came to you for advice. Very, very impressed with your level of knowledge. So yeah, I think you've got a lot to offer to the podcast and the viewers today. So, do you want me to start, guys?
Yeah, can do.
Go on, go for it.
So, one of the big things for me, so I've been training for 30 years now. And one of the big things for me is nutrition. We touched on it just before we came on. So, I didn't really start seeing great changes in my physique until I took my nutrition serious. So, I'm going to send... Tate's going to pop up some images for you of a picture of what I looked like when I was in my 30s and a picture of what I look like now I'm in my 40s, and the worlds apart. And the only thing different that I do now is my nutrition is a lot better. I kind of fell into the habit of thinking that because I'm going to the gym and I'm training, that I could kind of eat what I wanted. And then, so yeah, I was getting my protein in and I was getting my carbs in, but I was also getting cookies in, and I was using, we've discussed it before in a podcast, I was using mass gainers and and looking back at the pictures now, like at the time I thought I looked good, and I did in clothes. But looking back at them pictures now, I look terrible compared to the changes that my physique have done. So that's one of the things. What do you guys, have you guys run into a similar sort of thing?
I fully agree. I mean, I'll use myself as an example. When I first started training during college, university, I'd have whatever was cheapest Subways. I'd eat a lot of crap. Yeah, I used to train really hard, and I got, a little bit of results, but it wasn't until I switched over and started taking my diet seriously. You notice how much better you feel on cleaner food, and what you thought was a normal feeling. You actually feel like crap eating them foods, and you're not able to perform. When you switch over to a clean diet, your sleep gets better, your training gets better, and that shoots your performance in the gym, and you will get way better results. The term, you can't out-train a bad diet, is absolutely true. I don't know what you feel about that, Josh.
No, I think,
What did you say? You're living proof of that? Bad diet, not out-trained it?
Shut your face. This is no diet, no training. You wish you looked as good as this. No, fucking 6 months off. Shut up. Yeah. Okay. So, no. I agree. I think that over the years, like, the better my diet has been, I suppose, like, when you bodybuild, a micro change, you see a micro change, whereas, like, if you just got a regular person and you change 10 grams of carbs, we're not going to show anything, but, like, when you're, like, 3-4 weeks out and you change something, you really know about it. So I think over the years of prepping and seeing my body change, I've definitely seen like the greater the diet has been, or the more I've put into the diet, the greater my physique has been, and the difference in it. I suppose on those small levels you see it. Like, so if you're just doing an average diet, you're probably not going to see it as much. But if you're really prepping hard, and like as you've just done a photo shoot and you've just done a show and stuff, you really notice it on those.
I mean, I notice it with clients that first come to me. I would say your average Joe eating an average diet. What they feel like a normal feeling to them, I switch foods. They switch to whole foods, clean foods, and they're like, "Wow, I never realised I had bloating."
Yeah.
And now it's gone. That's a normal feeling to me. Now I've got so much energy. I've got energy to play with my kids. I've got energy to train. I can work all day and not feel tired. So by just changing your diet, I think it's massive. And you will get results straight away. Straight away you will get results from just switching up your food, cleaning it up, definitely.
I notice it in reverse now, so I eat relatively clean probably about 90% of the time. And I now notice that when I go out, when we have a takeaway or we eat something bad,
you'll feel garbage the next day, won't you? Yeah, and
afterwards.
and when you're on that feels normal to you when you're eating them foods regularly. You don't know what good feels like. Yeah, I agree.
It's not good. It's like I know when I first started training, like fucking 4 weeks ago, whatever it was. No, when I first started training, I'd never done a diet, never even eaten proper food. And in the first like month, I just like blew up.
Yeah.
I was eating proper food, good food, not like 2,000-3,000 calories worth of shit. Like it was like, do you know what I mean? 3,500-4,000 calories worth of
And
proper.
that's hard to eat.
Yeah,
Clean food, that's hard to eat. People don't understand.
It's
That's
like,
hard.
I know we've touched on it before, but obviously we're talking about diets and stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see people come to you, I can't put on weight.
Yeah, all the time.
Can't put on weight,
Yeah.
can't put on weight.
Yeah.
They're fine. You give them a diet, or you give them some proper food to eat, and straight away everything changes. Because like wow, like and as you said, you feel better, feel healthier, more energy. People tend to fill out as well.
Yep.
A lot in those first. I know for me, probably because Paul's going to bully me within the next 2 weeks. I'm probably going to start training again, and I know within the first 2 weeks I'll just fill out again, and you start leaning off, and months go by, and you're like, fucking, I feel better. But I think diet's such a key part of
protein's a
learning.
big one. Everyone undereats protein.
Yeah.
Overeat carbs.
Overeat carbs, overeat fat, undereat proteins, and they come to you. I'm not sure why I'm growing, or I'm always sore in the gym. You know, overtraining. That I think that's something we're going to talk about later on. But I think you can minimise that a lot through just decent nutrition, high protein diet, carbs fueled around your training, and fats just limiting. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, diet. I think something again that I wish I'd known like 10, 20 years ago.
And if you don't know what you're doing, just hire someone that does.
Yeah,
it just takes the guesswork out of it. I mean, I did a lot of research, but when I first started, but there was years where I was just spinning my wheels because I thought I knew what I was doing. Whereas if I would have just hired someone, they give you a diet, they give you a train, so you don't have to think.
Yeah, you just got to perform.
Just invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. You know, it's like any hobby. You wouldn't go into any hobby without researching it. But for some reason in the fitness industry, people just like to do that. They have no idea what they're doing and they don't want to learn.
Fumble.
You know, if you want to play golf, you practice, you learn how to play.
Take notes about golf.
But for some reason in the fitness industry, lifting weights and looking good, they just try and wing it.
I think some people can wing it. Some people have that genetic makeup.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people that could do that. Yeah,
and I'm quite lucky enough I can wing it and still look half decent. But I think if you really put your mind to it,
I think you can only wing it to a certain point, though.
Yeah, I couldn't step on stage winging it. I'd have to do something drastic.
Yeah. You could probably look better
decent.
than the average person.
Yeah, definitely.
By winging it, but if you want to take it serious, and we've touched on it before, there's a plethora of respectable, well-educated and knowledgeable coaches and access to forums and things like that out there. So the information is there for you now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use myself as an example. When I decided I wanted to start competing, I thought to myself, right, who's the biggest bastard there was? Who in this country is the biggest person there is? And I've got the most muscle. Jamie the Giant, that was my first proper coach. 6'6", 350 pounds. I was like, right, I'm hiring him. And I learned so much just through that.
Yeah.
You know, but he was
Yeah,
great
that's
for me.
it. Learn from the people that we've said it before. Learn from the people that are
Yeah.
where you want to be or
Yeah,
achieve
walk the
what you
walk,
want to
done the
achieve.
done the talk for years and years and years. Yeah.
Another one for me was not warming up properly, and I still see it to this day, and I'm sure you see it. Guys come straight into the gym, straight off site, straight in, start benching 2 plates aside, no warm up, no nothing. I'd done it the same. Never used to do cardio. Used to go straight into the gym, not my pre-workout, natter for 10 minutes, straight into my training. And again, you don't realise the kind of damage and the unnecessary stress that you're putting your body under. Whereas all you need to do to warm up 10, 15 minutes on the treadmill just to get the blood flowing.
Just get your heart rate up.
Yeah.
Just get your body ready for exercise.
Some stretching, just loosen your muscles up.
Yeah, and you know, exercise selection. You need to take into consideration, like you've just mentioned, there's no point going straight to a bench press and putting 2 or 3 plates on. I think it's much better to start with a fly, get the blood in, get your heart rate up, and then move on to them exercise. It's going to be a lot safer for you.
Do you think it's good for injury prevention as well, like getting warmed up and stuff?
Definitely.
Because a lot of people, like we've had a couple of occasions at the gym where people have injured themselves benching and this, that, and the other, and it's quite a common injury. Deadlifting's another one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't really warm up properly.
You know, over the years, and that many guys, and it is guys mainly, not really seen any girls, but shoulders all the time. I'm like, have you warmed up? No. Why not? You exercising, and most guys that I know, most guys that you probably know, like they don't lift fucking 10 kilos. You know what I mean? Like they're lifting a decent amount of weight. Yeah. Like even with 60, 70 kilos on a bar, you could still do some damage to yourself. Yeah. But as you said, if you're not warming up properly, you're not getting that blood flow. You're not doing a fly, like forget cable fly or machine fly, hands down. Like just get yourself on it. But rotator cuff exercises, and like I'm massive into my physio. Do you know what I mean? I do sports massage myself, and I think that having taken all that time and invested in myself and all these physios that I know, don't just necessarily like warm up on it. Like build a rotator cuff into your workout as well. This is like information that I've been told for a long time. Build it into your workout instead of doing it like do it was almost like resistance training. Yeah. Instead of just going, and I'm going to touch on this now because you know exactly what I'm about to say, right? This with a dumbbell. Stop fucking doing it. I hope the camera's picking it up.
Yeah, stop
doing
that.
This is supposed to be resistance this way. Yeah. Okay, so you're getting your shoulder. This is doing nothing. Okay, this maybe, but do it with a band. Do it with a fucking towel if you can. A towel will give you the same effect. But build those sort of exercises into your workouts, and you'll find that your shoulders will become a lot stronger, a lot denser, because you're working out not just all the thick shit you can see, all the internal stuff as well, and you're building on muscles, making your ligaments stronger, making everything all nice and compact, instead of doing something silly one day in the gym, or you hyperextend because you've got heavy dumbbells and you throw your arms back, and you'll find that you'll really benefit from it. So warming up is...
I always found it a very weird concept that people will walk straight into the gym and lift, because they would never do it with any other... These, like a lot of guys that go to the gym, they'll play five-a-side. They won't just jump out of the car and straight onto the pit. Warm up, you know.
Do you warm up before golf?
Before golf? Yeah.
No.
No.
You do a couple of... You don't just hit the ball though, do you? You practice, Okay.
Like I used to do MMA. I'd warm up before partaking in anything like that. And so why is it... I don't understand where this mentality just walk straight to the gym and start lifting
especially weights. When you're cold. Like when you're cold, your muscle fibers are like... They're locked. They're not loose. Whereas if you warm up, you go on the cross trainer, you go on the Stairmaster, you go on the treadmill... Then your blood's flowing, you've got your cardiovascular system active, and then you come down and you do a couple of warm-up sets on something, then you go into it. You'll find that you'll have a better session. Yeah. You'll find that your blood flow's better, your pumps are better, you probably lift more. Yeah. Like you find that everything just flows better, and warming up, it should be built into your workout. It shouldn't be
warming up.
I've got to warm up. It should be built into your workout.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then just the same as diet, should be built into your fucking day.
I'm just going to add hydration as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, how many people do we know? Been to work 9-10 hours, they get out the car, they dry scoop a pre-workout, and then they're training.
Yeah.
That's just a recipe for disaster.
We
and I
touched
think
on it the other week about
we did a
coffee
bit,
and
didn't
stuff.
we? Yeah,
didn't we?
yeah.
Oh, I've drunk 4 coffees today. Yeah, but coffee's a
it dehydrates.
diuretic,
yeah,
innit?
it dehydrates
You
you.
need to make sure you're hydrated. I think that's the main cause of most muscle tears, honestly. Dehydration, poor warming up. It's just a recipe for disaster.
When you're super lean, if you drink a load of water,
Yeah.
you fill out a bit.
Fill out, your pumps are better.
Your pump.
Your pumps are much
Because that's what like water will do. If you don't drink, you'll become dehydrated. You'll become when you're stripping. Your last week you water load,
Dehydrate,
and then
yeah.
you'll strip yourself down because it dehydrates you, it makes you look leaner, takes all the water away from you. So if you think about it, like if you're adding water in, you'll find that everything will just be better. Pumps will be
You
better.
can't fill out. I mean, anyone who's ever competed, if you're trying to fill out for a show with carbs and you don't add water, you can't fill out.
No.
Yeah.
So how are you
Yeah.
supposed to perform in the gym if you're dehydrated?
So this is water. Yeah, hydration.
Water is very important.
Get it in you. At least like
And
a couple
also,
of liters a day.
a pet peeve of mine in the gym. I'm gonna mention this now, and I've noticed this even more since working in the gym for the past year. I don't know why people are walking around with monster drinks while they train. If that's you,
I'm not
Josh,
training.
I have no
No.
idea. I have no idea
Right.
why people are doing that.
Right.
Why are you
Fuck
doing
you,
this?
Paul.
Go on.
So
Go on.
number one, I'm not taking training seriously.
Okay, there we
Number
go.
one, I was just training with Paul for a bit while he was on prep because he needed mothering through his sessions.
I did.
But number two, no, I wouldn't periodically walk around the gym with a monster. If I was gonna have I have my monsters in the morning, and Paul was training in the morning, so I normally train like 3-4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's one. But yeah, I would normally have an intra and a proper drink and settle. I would never have a monster whilst
I mean,
training.
a lot of the young guys seem to be doing it now that are serious in their training. They're walking around with monsters. I mean, I get it. I just don't think they understand, like, caffeine. There's loads of research how it can be beneficial for performance. That's great, and that's probably why they're taking it. But if you see in these studies, it actually takes 45 minutes for caffeine to peak in your system. So they're drinking a drink and they're just finishing it 15 minutes before they leave the gym.
Then they go home.
It's not even peaked
Yeah.
yet. And another thing is, why on earth would you want to do a heavy hack squat when you're got full of carbonated drink?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Just have it before. Have it half an hour before. And have an inch drink.
Yeah.
You know, some electrolytes, water, even water, water's fine.
Yeah, we've covered it before.
But
haven't we?
it's so popular, but they're all walking around with energy drinks, and it's, I don't know. I couldn't train like that.
I think it's like we've touched on it before. It's a fad. It's a fad.
Yeah.
It's a fitness fashion fad at the moment, and there are performance benefits to it if used correctly, but people are just not quite using it the right way.
I think it's like you said, and we touched upon it. It's lack of education, lack of
Yeah,
knowledge.
I think it is. It's just education. Yeah.
Because if you knew that caffeine doesn't hit you for 45 minutes, like you wouldn't
do it, would you? No, you
It's
wouldn't
like
do
it's
it.
like your pre-workout. I know people.
But again, Josh, like if you read a tub of pre-workout, it says consume 30 minutes before training. There's a reason why it says that.
Yeah. It needs to get into your system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you should have ideally your pre-workout at home, travel to the gym,
Yeah.
and then you start your training. Warm
Yep.
up and then train. And by the time you've done that, you'll be firing on all cylinders.
I think what happens is like advertising and supplement companies, they're slightly manipulating their audience because you've watched trailers for energy and there's guys in the gym training and what they're doing between sets, sipping on an energy drink.
They're not doing that,
They're not
really.
doing it. They're only,
Just marketing.
they're only doing it because
Yeah.
they're being filmed.
Yeah.
It's like the old photo shoots that used to happen in Flex and Muscle and Fitness and stuff.
Yeah.
And you see the bodybuilders and
They aren't drinking their protein shake halfway through their training. I guarantee you that.
80 kilograms, and they're like, but that guy doesn't. That's not how he trains. That's not how he's built. He's just doing that for the photo, and then guys are thinking, oh, that's what I need
That's
to do.
what I need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, just being slightly manipulated by the media, which has been happening for years. But like we say, there's a lot of people out there that can give you proper knowledge.
Yeah.
Arm yourself with the right knowledge. Don't fall for the propaganda. Don't be a sheep.
You. No, I think knowledge is so powerful. And even someone else's knowledge, paying for someone else's knowledge, definitely change your life.
So another one I picked up on, and again, it's a bit of a controversial. I think we touched on it the other week. Is lifting too heavy and not focusing on specific muscle groups. So there's a bit of a trend at the moment, which you've seen on social media, where guys are training and they're holding their lats reps on every exercise and this and the other, which is a bit. I can understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But it's a little
Nobody else
bit-
does that. Is that just? I'm kidding.
But yeah, it's a case of, again, it's this old-fashioned kind of mentality that, oh, I need to be big, I've got to lift big. Well, you don't really. You need to focus on stimulating muscles, isolating the muscle. We're getting that mind-muscle connection. You need to be tearing the muscles. Yes, there are exercises, and obviously I want to hear your point on it. There are exercises where you will be going like all out, trying to move as much. But if you're a bodybuilder, my view of it is you're a sculptor. You're sculpting your body. Now, a sculptor doesn't use a sledgehammer to sculpt a statue. He uses fine-tuning instruments in order to sculpt away. And that's what a bodybuilder is going to be doing. They're going to be using more isolation exercises to shape and sculpt their muscles. What's your take on that?
I think it's really difficult to explain to a person that's new to the gym, mainly because when you first started training, you don't know how stuff is supposed to feel. And I know myself personally, it can take sometimes years to actually learn how to contract your back properly. Back's a common one.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to actually train the back until they're 4, 5, 6 years into their lifting career. Now, I think there's a time and a place for heavy stuff, heavy compounds, when you first start lifting. And they will get you sore. And the places where you sore is how you're supposed to feel a lot of stuff. But I think once you know how to actually train your muscles correctly, I think people can benefit way more through isolation stuff. And I'd forget the bands. Honestly, I'd forget the bands, and I'd forget like sitting down in awkward positions, and just learn how to train really hard. You can get very far by training like an idiot. Honestly, you can, but if you just put maximal effort into it.
Do you think people overcomplicate things these days?
Way too
When they first
overcomplicated.
start?
Way too
Think
complicated.
As you just said, if you've never been to the gym
Yeah.
and you start going to the gym, you will change shape, whether you train well or you don't train well, because you're
If you
going
just put
from
a bit of effort into it, and you start sweating a bit. No one sweats anymore in the gym. I've noticed that. Not a lot of people sweat in the gym.
My mascara never runs anymore.
I mean, I have people who come to me like, "Oh, Joe, I've never sweated. I've never sweated." And what I say, okay, right, go on a treadmill and start running. They'll start sweating. And I'm like, oh, this is hard. I put the same effort into your weight training.
Yeah.
But I think it's because like they're trying to find this perfect position and this band, and that's not going to get you sweating. Way too overcomplicating. There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
There's
At a certain level, like you, for example, you've got an incredible physique. I'm sure, like we'll put a picture of one of Joe's pictures up so people can see what kind of shape you're in. You've got an incredible physique, and there's certain methods which you will use to train now, which are beneficial to you because you're so advanced in the building of your physique.
Yep.
But someone just walking through the door, who's been training for 3, 4, 6 weeks or whatever,
need to do what you
they're
do.
not going to need to do the same kind of isolation exercises that you are.
And also, like when you first start training, you don't get the same pump. You'll get a crazy pump now.
Yep.
Because you know how it's supposed to feel.
I know how I'm supposed to contract each muscle when you don't know how to do that. Like I said, when you first start training, you don't know how to contract your lats. You don't know how to contract your quad. You just move the leg press. You just push it. It's only when you get that experience where you can put the tension on the muscle where you want.
The mind-muscle connection, isn't it?
If anyone looks at me training, they're probably thinking, how the fuck has he got that big using that that little weight?
Yeah.
It's because I've just learned and conditioned my body to feel what it's supposed to feel, and you can't teach that as a beginner.
No.
It just takes time, just a bit of patience.
So if you're just gonna throw weight around, not have good form and not have anything about it, then you're not really gonna. You'll get somewhere.
You'll get somewhere.
But you won't get many
you'll plateau
places.
very, very quickly.
It'll most likely cause you an injury.
Yeah, massively.
The kind of physiques that like guys and girls are wanting to build these days, the people that they're seeing online, that they're trying to emulate and look like, they're not going to get it.
But Ronnie Coleman does that. You are not Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. Ronnie
I am
Coleman
not
was
Ronnie
just a fucking
Coleman.
glitch.
No one
And look
is
at the
Ronnie
state of it
Coleman.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
You look at like I met Philly a few years back.
Yeah.
And that guy's I think he's 40 now, or maybe 43 now, something like that. But I met him, and he's fucking phenomenal guy. But he's in one piece. He's very mobile, and he looks good. Yet you look at that Ronnie.
Yeah.
The way he trained. Ronnie was a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
Ronnie was a crazy guy. But you look at him now, and the guy's in a wheelchair. Like, he can barely walk. So I think that longevity side of thing, you've definitely got to look. People, in my opinion, now more so, less for some people, you need to look for that longevity when you train. I think another point with training is structure. Like, don't wing sessions.
That was another
Go
thing I was
in,
gonna
go
touch
in with
on.
a purpose, with a plan.
Go with structure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go with structure, and like, even if you don't plan your sessions like, I'm going to do this exercise, I wasn't one for that. I know you do that personally. I kind of know what I'm doing before I know what my chest session looks like. I know what my shoulder session looks like. Maybe I'll add this in this week. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I don't tend to write it down. Some people do, and it helps, and you can track it. I know you like to track yours, but don't just come in and go, fancy legs today.
Yeah.
Like,
It won't be a good session.
No,
I can guarantee you that. Yeah.
If you know what you're coming for every day, every single day, and consistency, as everyone knows, consistency is key with bodybuilding, with anything really. And if you just coming in, you're like, I'm going to do chest, I'm going to do this, and this, and then you don't risk overtraining. I suppose if you come in, I'm going to do 3-4 exercises, 5 exercises, and then I'm done. Then I'm going to give it my all, and you leave feeling you've accomplished something. It's better than just fanning around. And I think as well on training, so I'm going to let this point in. Too many people train for the now instead of training for 6 months on.
Yep.
They look at their physique now and they'll train for the pump in the gym that day. I've got to get the best pump. But so what? Like, don't train for now. Train for the person you want to be. Train for that person. If you've got massive arms, you've got no tricep, fucking best start training your tricep, then you best start training your bicep.
Yeah, you better start doing 20 sets of curls.
Yeah, you better start
do
doing
some extensions instead. Yeah.
Like, there's no point always working on your good. Like, Paul's got a crazy chest, but there's no point in Paul just constantly working on his chest because then his other parts of his body aren't going to look as good. Like, he needs to bring everything on. So if you've got a great body part, amazing, you can lay off that a little bit. Like, don't not train it. Don't smash it as much and bring everything else up with it.
I mean, it's very hard to grow everything equally.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. No, you will get stronger body parts. It's just the way it is. And then, like Josh says, when you see them, you need to rejig your training a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're doing legs twice a week and your arms need to grow, well, if you're taxing 2 days of heavy legs, how are you going to put the effort needed into growing your arms or any body part? You take a leg session away, add an arm session in.
Exactly. Simple. Yeah, I think. Yeah, don't get caught into the trap of, like, if picture what you want to look like. I always say picture what you want to look like, and not that you're ever going to look like that. You're going to think about how you want to look, and then train for that person. Don't just come and just train for that session. Train for fucking 6 months.
I understand people do come to the gym and they just want to stay a bit fit and they want to healthy, and they just come and they do a bit of this, they do a bit of cardio, and that's great. They're not your serious trainers. They're just coming to stay fit and healthy, to feel good about themselves, and that's great. They know what they want to do. They're getting into the gym. They're being fit and active. I've said this before. I'm pro health. Whatever you do, whether you go play football, golf, whatever, get out there and do something. But it's the guys and the girls that are taking it serious, or that want to compete, or that want to do a photo shoot. They're the ones that need to be taking it serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Planning the sessions, it's like anything. You fail to prepare to fail. You don't plan your session, you don't get in the right mindset, you don't know what you're doing, you're going to waste time. You're not going to get the maximum out of that session.
If you took 2 people, one of them's done it on themselves, I think, you look at results, and some people are like, fucking hell, I got myself into this shape. But you might look better than you did, but in those 3 months what you've been training, now take another 3 months with me, and then look what you look like. Fucking hell. Just like you said, from your 30s to your 40s,
I did it myself when I first competed. When I first competed when I was 40, and I did my own prep. Obviously, I'm a qualified PT, nutrition, been training for over 30 years. and I qualified. And I did my very first show. Did all my own prep. Never done a prep before. Didn't ask for advice from anyone or anything. And I looked okay on stage. I looked like I belonged. I didn't look out of place. And then I thought, well, I liked that, but I want to be better. So then I went and hired a coach because I wanted to be better. And I was like, the reason I did it was because I wanted to take away the guesswork.
Yeah.
I wanted to have that structure. I wanted to have that accountability. And I also believe that someone else will see in your physique what you won't see.
Yeah.
And that's what you will get from hiring someone like yourself, a good coach or whatever. They will give you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did. And then the second time I competed, my physique was incredible. I got down to like 4% body fat. You know, I finished second in my show, went on to the British finals. Totally different. So the first one, it was exactly what we said. I got myself in that shape and it was good. You know, looks at it and said, it's good. And I got on stage and I looked like I belonged on stage, but I didn't win. I wasn't as good as the guys that placed above me, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be the best, not just look like I belonged. I wanted to compete, and that's why I came away and got someone to do all that, take all that guesswork away from me.
Yeah. I mean, that's so important. That's one of the benefits of hiring a coach, just so you don't have to think about anything.
Accountability is a big
I mean, a
one
lot
for
of
me.
people do know quite a bit, and they know how to get there. It's just they start overthinking things and doing silly stuffs when they're deep into the diet, because when they're on a low carb diet, it sends you a bit wacky.
Yeah.
And you look in the mirror and you think, wow, I'm flat here, but you need someone to say, you're supposed to be flat.
Yeah.
And you need to keep pushing. And they just keep filling up, and they're not losing any body fat that way. So whether you hire a coach, you don't have to think.
It takes the guesswork.
It takes the
out of it, doesn't
guesswork
it?
out of it, yeah.
And then if it all goes peak tongue, you got someone to blame.
You got someone to blame. Yeah.
It's your fault. It's
your fault, yeah.
Not those pack of biscuits I ate. It was your fault.
So another one I picked up on was, this is a massive thing for me, and I know it's a bit of a bugbear for people, mobile phone usage while you're training. So I was terrible for it. So I run my own businesses as well as running the gym. So I have a lot to do during the day. And what I was doing is I have a routine. So I get up at a certain time, I get into the gym at a certain time. The first thing I do is train.
Yep.
And then the rest of my day is work behind it. But what I was doing is I was coming into the gym and training and answering emails and texting and phone calls and this and the other. And that an hour and a half training session would turn into 4 hours,
Yep.
3 hours. And it wasn't even productive. And then what I did when I did my last prep for my photo shoot, I said, right, I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to dedicate an hour and a half to myself every day, and I'm going to put my phone on flight mode when I'm in the gym so no one can disturb me. Yeah. And it was so much better. And I got in and I got my training session done, and I was more productive throughout the course of the day. I got more work done and I felt better. So, and I see a lot of people doing that between sets. They're doing the training, and then the first thing they do, they put the weights down and they're straight on the phone.
Yeah.
Straight on the phone.
Takes you out of the zone.
Yeah.
Properly takes you out of it. And if you get... When I'm on it, I'm not one for phone use. And I think that when you said it takes an hour and a half session to like 3-4 hours, you're not far wrong. Like I would be in the gym when I was on prep or taking it seriously for hour and a half max.
Yeah.
Because I want to get home and eat. Like the longer I'm in there, the more calories I'm burning.
And you're training with intensity.
And you're training with intensity, so you're knackered. And you see some guys that, you going? I'm like, yeah, I'm done now, mate. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
But then you take these people that sit on the phone. It's like, let's take a stopwatch and let's start it every time you train, and let's stop it every time you're not training. And I bet you're only getting like 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
And you see some people that they'll go and talk. And I know it's a social thing for some people, and I'm not saying it's not. And if you go to the gym for be social, hey, that's it. It is what it is. But if you are taking your gym seriously, but you're in the gym for 2 hours, but you're only training for 40 minutes, maybe there's a problem. That means that your training cannot be intense because your rest periods are far too long. And like if you're going in for a heavy set, or if you're going over a hack squat or whatever it is, you can't be taken out of that zone.
No,
because you're in that fucking that dark place, and you're like, right, I've got to do this. And if you just say, like, do you know what I mean? It's not good, is it?
Watching videos.
Yeah, you've got to be.
Yeah,
it takes you out of that, and you've got to get yourself back focused again. And so just get off your fucking phone.
Yeah.
If you're not bothered, you're not bothered. I'm not saying this to people, but if you are bothered,
Yeah, I think it's a case of if you're into your training and you're taking it serious, it's okay to be selfish for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's okay to turn your phone off and focus on yourself for an hour and a half. Even if it's at the end of your day and using that gym session as a part of your process to unwind before you go home, just turn your phone off. Your training will be more effective and you will be more focused on your training session, and you'll go out of the gym feeling so much better, and you'll be more productive. There's obviously ways that you can do on your phones now. Like even if you put my phone on airplane mode or nighttime mode or do not disturb or whatever, I can still set certain numbers as an emergency. So if there's an emergency, they can ring me and it'll still answer. But everything else is blocked out, and that's what I started to do, and I think it worked a lot better.
I think some people, it's not even like they're doing anything. Like
No,
you would be doing work, but some people just on TikTok or Instagram scrolling.
Yeah.
It's like just just sit there, 30 seconds, whatever you need for your rest period. That's all you really need. Unless you're going like crazy, you don't really need that much
your
rest.
stuff on your phone. And,
Yeah.
That's fine.
Just
a lot of people won't use a
chill.
logbook; they'll track it on their phones. But if you just randomly scroll in Instagram between sets, you're taking yourself out of your zone.
Yeah, I mean, I want to split this topic into two types of people. I mean, the first type, like yourself, Paul, business owner, very busy, responding to emails all the time. You have to have your phone on you. Now, I think you have to be a bit smart. Why don't you just train in the morning? If you know people are going to be calling you, emailing you, just do your training in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock, and then have your phone on you for the rest of the day. Now, if you're a normal person, I don't really see an excuse for you to be on your phone while you're training. I mean, how many times do you see people doing sets and they just sit down on a bench, Instagram's open, they see something, related, or now they're on Twitter. and like Josh says, like 5, 6 minutes, 10 minutes is sometimes gone.
Yeah.
And they're looking at a hack squat and, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, you've lost your motivation.
You've got no excuse.
Or you cut your set short. Like, I'm done now. Or you're like,
I'm going to skip that set, even though it's a really important. I'm going to move on to something else now.
I've got to go home now.
I mean, that post on Instagram you saw 5 minutes ago is still going to be there when you get in. Just scroll through it while you're eating your post-workout meal.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, but if you're a business owner, it is. I get it. It is difficult, but you've just got to time your day differently.
Yeah, even if you're a business owner, it's you still need time to unwind. You still need time to yourself. If you just work constantly 24/7, you're going to burn out. So if you go to the gym 4 times a week and you give yourself an hour, that's only 4 hours a week. You deserve, even if you have a high pressure job, anything where you need some time to yourself, you deserve to have an hour to yourself. Just put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Give yourself an hour. The positive benefits of it will far outweigh that one email that you might not respond to straight away, or that one customer that's going to ring you. You know they're going to call you because you'll pick it up when you finish and just call them back. Oh, sorry, I turn my phone off when I'm in the gym. I just give myself an hour.
Okay, it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You can't just. You got to prioritize yourself. Like, you can't be everyone's beck and call all the time. But yeah, I think there's going to be people listening to this that are like, maybe I should get off my phone, or maybe I should prioritize my training more. And you should, because you'll see a difference.
Yeah.
Airplane mode. Keep your Apple Music on. Away you go.
At the end of the day, people are coming to the gym because they want to feel good and they want to look good and they want to feel better about themselves. So focus on yourself for an hour and a half. That's all you need to do. It's very simple. So yeah, I think we'll. You got any others you want to add?
Ooh, no,
I've got one.
Go on then.
Only
Come
one.
on, Joshy.
Go on.
Don't compare yourself to anybody else.
Oh, that's a big one, actually. We could go down a rabbit hole with that one.
Sorry. Tell me on. Yeah. When I started training, I think you would compare yourself to everyone you saw on social media, everyone you saw in the gym. You would want to be like them. And then it took me a while, but eventually I was like, I ain't never going to be that person. I'm just going to be a better version of me. Like, that's it. You can only be Joe Pierce. You can only be a bigger version or a better version of yourself. You can never be like Chris Bumstead because Chris Bumstead is Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
Like Ronnie Coleman's Ronnie Coleman.
I always wanted to be like Josh Keane.
Did you? Oh.
And then I met him, and what a letdown.
Is that because I got a belly now?
I love the belly.
But fuck you. I'm not talking that. I'm joking. But yeah, I think comparing yourself, you can really mentally torture yourself.
Yeah.
If you're, I get social media's there, and I get there's loads of people there, but ultimately, like, just fucking who cares? Who cares? If you're working 100% and you can honestly say that I've given everything to my diet, to my prep, to whatever I'm doing, you've won. You've won, eh? Like you're never going to look like somebody else. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's okay to use someone as inspiration.
Absolutely, inspiration.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, we've said it before. I got into training and lifting the gym because I wanted to look like an action hero. Like when I was growing up, it was Sylvester Stallone, Arnie, Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's what I wanted to look like.
Yeah.
I didn't want to look like them. I didn't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Be that.
I wanted to. That's the physique I want.
Yeah.
I want to look fit and muscular and healthy. That's what I want to look like. They were my inspiration to get into the gym. That's what I wanted to look like. I didn't want to look exactly like them. And I think the other thing is today, a lot of what you see on social media is manipulated. I saw a post not that long ago which was about a male men's physique athlete who was a Mr. Olympia who was editing his photos for Instagram. Now, this is a guy who's been awarded one of the best physiques
He's been the greatest in the world at some point.
This guy has been on the Olympia
Yeah.
stage. You are the best of the best as you are on that stage, and he still edited his pictures.
It's madness.
Giving false
blows your
hope to
mind,
people.
doesn't it? Why someone would
Why
need
would you
to
want to
do
do
that?
that? You've already got that. You've got that proof and that affirmation that you have got the best male physique that's currently available. You can't argue with that. So why would you want to argue? So even if you're looking at some of these people on social media, thinking I want to look like that, they probably don't.
Maybe
look
they
like
don't look
that
like
either.
that.
Yeah.
You know, you got to remember, like, not everything you see is truthful. Not everything you see is real.
I think everyone on every level aspires to be something more. It's that whole thing of the person on the moped wants a car, the person in the car wants something bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like it's whether
nothing wrong with being aspirational.
Yeah, but don't get
Aspiration,
locked into it thinking,
Yeah.
I want it. Like so.
If you're 6 months in your journey, I know it's easier said than done. Stop comparing yourself to someone that's been doing it for 10 years.
Like I see Joe in the gym when he wears his basketball top and he's got the best like delts ever. And I look at him and I'm like, I'd kill for delts like that.
But what's funny
never
is,
gonna have it.
what's funny is though, I look at pros and think, how the hell am I going to look like that?
Yeah.
You know, it happens all across the board, and it's so hard to get away from. It really is. But they've just been doing it longer, and all you can do is just focus on yourself, get better and better every day.
If you look better,
And you will get there. You will get there at some point. It just takes time.
If you look better every show,
Yeah.
if you look back on next year or later on this year, whenever you compete next, and you're like, I look better, regardless of what your position is, you've done better.
You've done better, yeah.
And that's all you can do. If you look better, everyone gets work on points. There's guys that have been training 10, 15 years that aren't happy or that go on stage and they don't do as well as they want to. But it's just a work on point, isn't it? Like it's just one of those things you just fall into such a mental
It's a
trap.
rabbit hole, isn't it? It's a mental rabbit hole.
100%.
Just Instagram and social media's a fucking killer because people
Social media just...
don't look like that.
No.
No,
Like,
I know from
wanna know what-
being around a lot of good pros and competing against people who I think, wow, they're really good, and being next to them is a different story. And
If you want to know what people on Instagram look like, go to an expo.
Yeah.
Go and see them.
like Paul Yarwood
Yeah.
is 6'5".
Exactly.
I wasn't lucky, but he's 6'5". But it is though. It's like if Joe was stood next to somebody, there's a comparison. But if Joe's on his own, you don't know if he's 6'11"
Yeah,
or
yeah,
5'11".
Yeah.
Like you don't know. You don't like some people look massive on photos.
People look great on their own.
But when you
World
stand up next to-
champions, and then when you put them next to someone, it's not that great. You know? His arms aren't that big. You know. Yeah.
But it is though. It's don't take everything what you see on social media as gospel because chances are, I'm not saying these people don't look good. I'm just saying they might not look as exaggerated as they look in a photo.
Again, I'm going to say marketing. That's all it is.
Yeah, it is.
They are edited to look the best to sell the most.
Yeah.
And that's what
So just
the
don't-
fitness industry is.
Don't get pulled into that trap because
What do we say? Be the best version of yourself.
best version of yourself.
Exactly. I enjoyed that. That was good.
That's good, yeah.
So I wanted to say, so we'll wrap things up for today. Thank you to my mate Lee, Lucky Boy Streetwear, for sponsoring the show as usual. Josh is sporting his lovely t-shirt. I've got one of the new Old School Gyms tops on.
Old School Gyms.
Joe's repping the gym again. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Joe. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it. It's been a great chat, actually. Hopefully people have learned a bit as well.
I hope so.
Touch wood.
I think so.
And what does everyone need to do?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
See you later, guys.